What's up, guys? This is exclusive podcast, and I've been excited for this one, guys. We have Alex here, and let me tell you all about him for a minute. No matter when you see him, no matter when you meet him, he's going to bring the energy. He's going to bring the light. The guy shines in the middle of the dark. Just an amazing person so far in our life, as well as fitness community, entrepreneurship. He's just a straight out hustler, you know? So I want to dive in a little bit, introduce yourself to that Cam B right there.
Hey, what's up, guys? You heard it from Weston. Alex Gabrielle here. A little bit about me. Fun fact: I'm from New York, Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn, New
Yeah.
York.
So if you hear some accent coming out, that's probably what it is. Also from the Caribbean. Mom's from Trinidad and Tobago. So shout out Ma, wherever you are, Ohio. But
Bro,
yeah.
you've lived a crazy life, huh?
Oh, 100%.
So we went to Brooklyn. We lived in Brooklyn. We didn't go there.
Yeah.
From Brooklyn, man, when did you move down here?
2008, 2009 to Houston. Houston first.
To do what?
High school. I did high school in Houston.
Was that like a big change jumping from New York to Texas, bro? Especially Houston.
Oh, 100%. You're the first memory that comes to my head as we're talking about this. I had an in-unit dryer machine.
You had a what?
An in-unit dryer, like a dryer,
Yeah.
like washer and dryer. I had a dryer. We don't have dryers in New York. We had a washing machine, and then like you hang everything on like the little rack, like maybe on like the fire escape, real ghetto. But coming out
worked.
here. Oh yeah, it worked. I was like, yeah, you waited a long time when you got your clothes. They were kind of like cold depending on the winter, on the season.
That's crazy, man. So then you come down to winter all the way down to Texas heat, bro. What was the heat like when you got down here?
Oh, it was hot. I remember hiding from the sun. Yeah, I remember. I think the first stop we made, I hid from the sun. We was in San Antonio. My mom was at like some type of like farmer's market or whatnot. The sun was hot. And I remember finding a big white truck and just standing behind it that casted some shade. I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this.
This ain't it for me.
This ain't it for me.
What do you feel about now? How do you feel about Texas now, bro?
It's better. It's better.
Yeah, you've adapted.
I will say, for anyone out there that's curious, I was light skinned. At one point, the Texas sun made me dark. I used to tell people I had Drake complexion.
Did you?
Everyone who sees pictures, that's just a flash on the camera. I was like, it's more than just a flash.
That's hilarious, bro.
Yeah, I got darker and I lost my hair out here.
What? Just the heat?
Yeah, I used to have an afro and everything.
Bro, that's all that brain power you got pushing out your hair, bro.
Hey, there's a price for everything.
Hey, bro, you gotta sacrifice, man. The guy was a super genius. When did you leave your job?
August.
So
This
he
year.
was a coder. I mean, you can probably describe that a little bit more. What did you used to do?
So I went to school for computer science, but then halfway there, I realized I was too extroverted. So I went the consultant side of technology. So I was like a consultant for so long. I remember working with Salesforce, if you're familiar with that company. So I used to work with like major companies like Walt Disney. I used to work with Jessica Alba.
Damn,
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
The Honest Company. Yeah. So she, in her subconscious, it may not be in the total front conscious, but in her subconscious, there's an image of me in her mind. Like she's seen me. You know what I mean?
I've seen it.
Like she's seen me. Like, do you know who Alex is? She's probably gonna say no. But like if you put her underneath the machine and like got into her brain, the answer is yes.
Absolutely. You
Yeah.
got to run with that one, bro.
Yeah, well she
I'm
was
best
like,
friends with Jessica Alba, no big deal.
yeah, no big deal. No big deal at all. She was super busy though. Like
What all did you do for the coding aspect of that?
I was mainly the guy that got the requirements for the website. So I primarily built e-commerce websites for brands. So I came to Dallas in 2017. Dallas Cowboys was one of my first clients that I helped build their e-commerce brand for. Yeah, the website.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah. So my main goal was getting all the requirements. It was like I was the middle guy between the people who want the website built and the coders who actually built the website, right? It was like the coders code. Some coders have really good personalities, so they know how to talk to the business people,
Right.
but some don't.
Of course
right?
they don't.
And then some people have business people, they know what they want sometimes. And then, but it's hard to like, they don't have the
Pull it out of
resources.
them, right?
Yeah. So my goal was they said, oh, we want a website. And I'm like, all right, what does that exactly look like? So my goal was to get like, hey, if I'm going to bake you a cake, I'm going to bake it. But like, don't get mad if like it doesn't come out the way you want to, which was my job as well. I need to make sure I ask enough questions. Like, all right, what kind of cake you want? You want 3-layer cake, 5-layer cake?
Icing,
Icing, you want sprinkles, confetti, you want some chocolate? Oh, no chocolate? Okay, all right, now we know no chocolate, So things like a great example, like wish lists. You ever seen like some websites have like wish lists? So you could be like, hey, do you want a wish list? Some people are like, oh, I would love a wish list so customers can add to their stuff. Some clients are like, I don't care for a wish list.
Yeah, they want simple. Some people want a
Yeah.
Ferrari, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
It just depends on the product, bro.
Yeah,
Depends on the people.
I want people to check out as soon as they hit the
I bet
product
you were
page.
great at that though, because you're extremely smart in two different worlds. You're smart in the connection space, communication space,
Yeah.
and then also like coding is just, I mean, it's a whole nother world, bro.
Yeah, that's fun.
How
Yeah.
did you learn and decide you were going to get into coding?
I was a kid and I used to play video games. I was actually wanting to be a game designer at first. I used to the first if you guys know Naruto, fantastic show, fantastic series. I don't know about that Boruto stuff, but Naruto is fantastic. This is just for my nerds out there. Yeah, I remember playing a video game Naruto, and then somehow we got the code base to it actually. So it was like, they're like, hey, here's the code for the game. Tinker with it, do whatever you want to, have fun with it, and don't forget, we grew up also like on MySpace.
Oh,
Remember?
bro, now that I think about it, I was coding everything back then.
Yeah. So like, I was growing up with the
iPhoto, or
internet.
there was like this photo thing, dude. I had every little column. I had a digital GIF of like Kobe Bryant, Allen Iverson,
Yeah.
Dirk fade away, but like my whole website moved. Like it was the craziest stuff. Like it's so
Yeah.
funny now looking at it, I'm like, yeah, I would have been good at making websites, you know, but like, and I would steal the HTMZ, whatever it's called. I'd copy and paste that, which is the code, I guess.
Yes. Yes.
And I would just transfer it all and move it all around. I don't know how I figured all that out, but I did.
But we kind of did it. It was like, oh, what makes my MySpace looks cool,
Exactly.
and then you just
top
kind of
songs, top friends.
all of it.
I wish we go back. I bet Tom's just living his best life now. Sold his life away, made a fortune. Now he's just probably chilling on a beach drinking Coronas.
Yeah, everybody had Tom as a friend. I remember going on MySpace now, and they have none of those options for you to do any of that. It still exists. If you go on MySpace, I think it's like mainly for like music people, but like
That's hilarious.
it's
bro.
there.
I would love to go back and look at mine. I don't even know what it looked like.
Yeah,
Then you had to have the top music, but yeah, man. So you started doing it that way with gaming and then MySpace and
Yeah.
everything else. And you're just like, I'm pretty good at this.
yeah. And then as a kid, they said, hey, whatever you're doing as a kid, or like whatever you spent the most time doing, is probably what you're gonna do growing up. I remember having that thought at like 3 a.m. in the morning as I'm playing a video game. I'm like, oh, I guess I'm playing video games, so I guess this is what I'm gonna do. So I went to high school with a focus in computer science, and I even went to college thinking about game designing. And I got to game designing, I was like, you know what you think, expectations versus reality. Yeah, I was like, yeah,
That's life for you. I took a photography class in my one semester of school, college.
yeah.
Had nothing to do with photography, bro. It was a 3-hour art class, and I was so pissed.
Did you draw an apple?
Did I what?
Did you draw an apple?
No, I didn't draw anything. It was. I literally had to learn about old art.
Oh,
Like to this day, I remember the picture. Did you see the thing where they took a photo of a toilet, and it became like super viral as an art piece and worth millions of dollars, and it was a picture of a fucking toilet.
no.
But you know, sometimes people don't see the value in certain things. I don't see a value in a toilet seat, but it is what it is.
That's true. Where is the value in this, in like the seat, the cover? You're talking about the cover?
Like they just took a picture of a toilet out in the alley that was like it wasn't even a useful toilet. Someone took a picture of it and then put it in a picture frame,
Oh,
and it became this viral piece of art.
man.
Like
Art these
freaking
days.
art, man.
2024 art. That's for you.
So we quit our job when.
August.
So talk to the viewers about what it feels like to quit or be let off, and what was running through your mind, and what happened.
Yeah. So the layoff, I wasn't surprised by it, mainly just because the industry that I'm in and the product that I was an expert in was kind of struggling in the market. So, and it wasn't a lot of work happening in my companies. I wasn't too surprised. Like, I was surprised because I thought that maybe I would have made it. But like, since I got cut, I wasn't too surprised. So when it happened, I think my finance was in such a place that I felt good actually. Like, I wasn't panicking. Most people would have been panicked. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm in a financial crisis. Me, thankfully, due to mentorship and people I had in my life, I stored enough money away to where, like, if a situation like that did happen, I felt okay. It gave me some time just to sit back and think, okay, what do I want to do?
Most people don't get that opportunity.
Most people don't get that. I remember getting laid off for the first time in 2008. No, yeah, as a kid, 2018. And yeah, for me, I was in a different position 2018, fresh out of college, getting laid off. I was panicking then. I
Yeah,
remember that.
which
That's
probably taught you to save some money, huh?
yeah. I was like, I don't think I had any money saved at that point. I was like,
Yeah, figure it out. Time to scrap.
thankfully, the very next month, I got a new job. So I was like, sweet.
Yeah, that can be stressful.
Yeah.
So when you go through that position, what was the lesson you learned out of that situation?
The one 18 or the one now?
The one now.
The one now, um, that you are responsible for your financial success and your financial situation and your financial future, right? So like, if I think it's unfair for me to be upset at a company laying me off, right? Because isn't that like the whole agreement was like, hey, I hire you for a particular task, but doesn't mean I have to keep you for life, right?
Right.
I think it's like just like an arrangement, like, hey, I work for you as long as you will to pay me for the work that I'm producing for you, right? And
Right.
when they decide to let me go, I was like, well, I guess I didn't have any power in that situation. So, important lesson there was just like, hey, do you, uh, you are responsible fully for your financial situation, not an employer. So I'll probably say that's one of the first things I learned.
That's a good lesson to learn.
Yeah.
And then also not being mad at it. I think a lot of people go into the space of like, oh, it's when they laid me off. Like, why did you take a positive approach to that versus a negative approach?
Yeah. Well, just to understand that situation. Funny enough, I remember getting laid off and like I had a boss and I had a the HR person, obviously. You know, you have your boss and you have HR to tell you everything that's about to happen to you, right? I remember even my boss hit me up like she was, crying and just really distraught that she had to let me go because that's kind of hard for her. I can imagine it from her shoes.
Right.
I remember just like actually thanking her for the opportunity regardless. Like, hey, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have had the opportunities that I had in my career. So like I know this is probably the end for now, but thank you very much. Like I really appreciate the fact that you even gave me the opportunity. I understand it's hard for you to let me go, but I really appreciate you. And send her my love, you know?
And there'll be a full circle moment in time for that.
Yeah. There's even times I've been wanting to reach out to her and give her a call just to see how she's doing.
Yeah, you should, bro.
Yeah, thank you. I should. That's tomorrow. I got you.
Tomorrow, he said.
I will do it tonight, but
Yeah, it's late. So you go through this phase. Now you have like kind of a wake up call where you had financial saved, but you're also kind of in a position where you're like, well, dang, how old are you again?
31.
31. We're same age. You had a realization like, wait a minute, what do I really want to do with my life?
Yeah. Yeah.
How was that feeling?
I realized that I wasn't doing exactly what I wanted to do, right? Because after the tech job goes, it was almost like, hey, were you actually doing what you wanted to do? Like, is this the life that you actually wanted to live, or was it just easy? Right? There's easy, and there's the life that I actually want to live.
Right.
Right? The job part was easy. So when I went away, I was like, it was almost a blessing in disguise. I was like, imagine if I didn't get fired, I probably would continue still doing the same work that I'm doing for my employer without changing anything at all.
Right.
Right? To where now it's like, awesome. I got a chance to redefine what my vision is, what I want to do with my life.
Right. I think it's kind of crazy. Like, like have you ever looked at a spoon this way and then flipped it over and looked at it the other way?
No, that reminds me of the Matrix.
It's reflected the other way. It's really weird. Like you would look at it and then you're upside down.
For
Very
real?
interesting. Or if you like get a glass of water and you push a spoon behind it, the spoon shows up on this side.
Does it really?
Yeah. So it's pretty
Oh,
crazy how that works. But I think the reason I bring that up is the metaphor behind. Sometimes it's not always what it seems,
yeah,
and sometimes it's all about perspective of what it is.
yeah,
When you get laid off or you get in a situation where it's uncomfortable, I think a lot of people are like, why is this happening? Versus this is happening for me to design me to be great.
yeah,
Because I think where you were in coding, you were good.
yeah.
But I don't think that was your true calling to be great.
Correct.
And I think sometimes the world puts positions in situations where you have to identify how you're going to be great. And sometimes it's really hard just to make that leap and go try something new when you have something so good around you.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you get laid off and it's like, no, this was the best answer and best thing that happened to me. And then you get to kind of open your mind with space. Like I talk about this often, but the art of being bored helps you develop what you want to do. If you're so busy and you can't even have a concept of what you want to do because you're just flying around, you're working for somebody else, you're doing all these things, you don't ever get time for yourself. And so like when that happened and you got laid off, what happened? It was kind of refreshing in some weird way.
Yeah. like I didn't even think about I thought about applying for a next job, but I didn't. You know, I was like, nah, I kind of want to take some time to just relax and think things through. And to the same point, it took maybe 2 months or maybe even now, what that was August. So August, September, October, November. So it took about maybe almost 3 months for me to fine tune the direction that I actually want to go now. Right. Isn't that crazy?
And it's also led you to the people you want to be around. That's the crazy part. Like you're
Yeah.
in the video production space now, which has been so cool, bro. Because I mean, even when we met, was it two months ago, probably at this point?
Yeah.
I've seen massive growth, even on the personal side, but even now the business side of really jumping into something you're not necessarily sure of, but you're
Hmm.
enjoying it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, this is fun. I feel almost like a little kid again. I have dreams again. I have things I want to try without being so scared. It's like, no, I just want to go do this. So that's been pretty cool, bro, to see you kind of develop a beginning stage of being great, even if it is video production for now. But I think there's something bigger for you.
Hmm.
And I think you're going to unlock that sooner than later.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Yeah. So, like, what do you enjoy about video production?
Video production. One is honestly just collaborating with amazing other people, right? Like working with you, with Chris and the team, it's been fun. You know, like um everyone, I've been able to learn so much. I feel like I can't put an answer on it just yet. As I'm thinking about the words, I just enjoy it, right? I see a vision come in my head, and it's cool to actually make it happen in real life, right? I think maybe I don't know if viewers out there, if you guys get this, but in my mind, I see reels happen in my mind all the time. I get ideas or vision of things I love to see happen, and when I think about it, I think in the past I didn't always execute on it, but now I'm actually executing on it, and it's fun creating it.
Because you want to.
Yeah, 'cause I remember getting up in the morning, setting up my camera, seeing which angle works best, you know? And the best parts is like after you do a shoot, you go back and you look at it and you go, "Oh, you know what? I could do this better." And the next time you go back out and you do it better. So I think it's actually the joy of improving, honestly. Is improving in that skill set that you actually like. Um,
That makes
and
sense.
I think you can improve on, and I think you could prove in any other industry, right? Like maybe you're doing guitar, or maybe you're a singer, or maybe you are an artist of some sort, right? Music. Um, for me, that happens to be photography, videography. I just love actually creating something. And also when people say your work looks dope, I'm like, yes.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because, like, when you close your eyes and you actually paint a picture in your head and you actually take that thing out of your head, all the way to your hands, all the way to a computer, back to somebody else's head and back to their hands,
Yeah,
and then they like it, it's like, that's a crazy feeling.
yeah.
Like they're just ecstatic about a video that you came up with in your head.
Yeah. And in your mind, you think that like, okay, it was just an idea that you put together, and then you see how much it impacts other people. It makes you want to keep doing that more.
Well, I think people with vision, I think this is a big topic that I have a lot is like how to identify your vision
Hmm.
versus idea,
Yeah. Okay.
right? What is a vision versus what is an idea
Yeah.
to you?
I could take a crack at it.
Go ahead.
Idea, I think, is an intangible thought that comes to mind and that has the possibility to become tangible.
Hmm.
Uh, a vision, I think, is a well thought out idea that has impact and it serves a purpose. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no wrong or right answer. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like,
Thank you.
yeah. No, there's really not. It's just when I think about a vision and I think about an idea, is ideas are beautiful, man, but without action, they're nothing. They're
Mhm.
just ideas.
Yeah.
Vision is what we're sitting in.
Hey.
This is a vision that I've had in my head, that Chris has had in his head. So when you put vision tied to idea and action,
Yeah.
to me, that's what it is.
Would you say a vision, if you had to define it, would you say a vision is, well,
So you have to go back a little bit. It's like people get the word idea. Okay, where does idea come from?
wow, that's a great question. I don't think I know the answer to
You
this.
reverse engineer ideas. Like, why did that stimulate in your brain to create a reel?
I think, oh, well, where do ideas come from? I mean, maybe you could say idea, maybe you could say God gave you the idea, right? Like these are thoughts that he just pushed into your brain.
I think there's random ideas, and I would love to actually study like how the brain actually comes up with concepts. For me, I'm an innovator.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily have just crazy ideas. What I see is one little thing that stimulates a ton of things.
Mm.
And all of a sudden it's like, oh, I can expand this.
Yeah.
Right? That's how my brain's always worked. Is like, okay, you think about a slow car. Well, then someone's so obsessed with something that they figure out how to speed it up.
Yeah.
So my brain works the same way with an idea. Is if I watch a video or I'm around creative people or I'm around entrepreneurship, whatever the case may be, is I can innovate an idea and expand it.
Mm.
That to me is also vision.
Okay. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
you have a vision, you have an innovator, and then you have an executor.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of identify which one your brain is a little bit. And sometimes the crazy ones are the people that have innovation and execution.
Yeah.
Those people are freaking crazy.
Those are like Elon Musk.
Correct. Like I had a friend of mine, Ryan Boswell, over here the other day, and he's an innovator and an executor. And you're just like, how do you consume that much stuff in your brain and organize it and keep it functioning? And you're 99% all the time. Like, how do you do this?
Yeah.
It's crazy. And so, like, what do you think you are?
Between those two?
Yeah.
I'll probably say innovator. I'm an innovator.
You're a creative innovator.
Creative innovator, yeah.
Maybe that's your new name.
Creative innovator. I like it.
That kind of ties back to your old job as well as now. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of a cool name.
Might turn that into like a business name.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's kind of tight.
Yeah. Creative innovator.
Wouldn't that be crazy if we unlocked that on here? That'd be pretty sick.
That would be pretty sick. What Innovation Productions?
Innovated. I don't know. We'll think about it.
We'll think about it. Name pending.
Stay tuned. Don't no one steal that.
Facts.
They might, may not. But anyways, so going forward, we did some stuff today.
Yeah.
What's kind of the vision, man? Like, what do you see is going to happen in the next 1 year, 2 year, 5 year? Like, what do you really see?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. That is a great question. Yeah, earlier today, for those of you guys that don't know, we did like would you call it a war room?
War room. The war room definition is you're going to war with yourself to
Okay.
identify yourself,
Yeah.
to get clarity on what you want to do with your life.
So did we have like a full war room, or was
No,
it like
we
a war
did-
room light?
We did like 1 and 16th.
1 and 16. So
So technically, that's not even actually a war room.
yeah.
It's actually a brain dump and part of another program called the Parallel Accelerator.
Oh snap. Okay.
So that's a whole actually different phase. That's actually
It
past.
was a whoa.
That's past the war room. Actually, that's like one of the next phases.
Yeah. Apparently, I got to go back. I missed some steps.
We're gonna do a war room. Don't worry. It's life changing.
Okay. I've been hearing a lot about it. I'm excited for it.
It's intense. I've had everybody that's done it has cried.
Okay. You have cried? Wow.
There's 30 questions, and you know me in questions. I know how to get into those deep questions.
You do. You do.
I get to the ones that really hurt. So we go through those and kind of unlock, a safe place.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I haven't been able to feel this anymore. I mean, I think one of the most dangerous places I've seen people is, I put it in quotes, but fuck it
Yeah.
is a dangerous place. Right. And it's also a place it's like, I don't even want to feel anymore. When you get to a place where you don't want to feel, that's when you immediately need to break the stick.
Mm-hmm.
That is a dangerous place to be. I'd rather constantly feel, whether it's really bad or whether it's really good, than not feel at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when we do this war room, I think a lot of people get in this position where they're just stuck. They don't feel, they don't get excited anymore. They're not sure what they want to do with their family. They're not sure what they're even doing in their business. It's literally just a motion blur.
Yeah.
And then this kind of helps you get back on track and really identify what lane you want to sprint in.
Yeah.
Like waking up in the morning is easy when you know what you want to do.
Yeah.
It's really hard to wake up in the morning when you're unsure what you want to do.
That's fair.
So, yeah, I think we'll actually do a war room and kind of get some thoughts down. I have a 5-inch to 32-inch rule. It's like your brain jumps back and forth 5 inches. Like it'll just sit there all day and play pinball. But taking that 5-inch all the way to 32-inch, which is, head to wall or head to notebook or whatever it is around 32 inches. And that's where you get clarity.
Cool.
From 5-inch to 32-inch has literally changed my entire life on how to think about things.
Okay. So to answer your question then, from now until we get that war room and like get in there, I actually think about Alex Hormozy video quote that he said. He said most entrepreneurs, people who do anything for like a long time, You know, some people say I'm gonna do something for 90 days. I'm gonna do something for 6 months. He said most successful people do things. If they're gonna do something, they're gonna do it for like a decade,
I'm at 8 years right now.
8 years. So one thing is I think about like what I would still want to be doing 10 years from now, even right, is making film, like making videos. Like I don't think that is ever gonna go away. Um, maybe it could be for a client, or maybe just be for myself. Honestly, I think just the act of creating. Again, my mind sees videos and visions, reels all the time. So I still want to be able to create from that standpoint.
What
But
do you feel about the word obsessed?
I feel that I've been hearing obsession a lot lately, and I want to become more obsessed.
So, how do you think the world views the word obsessed?
Oh, great question. I think some people might view it as unhealthy. I think the world might view it as unhealthy, but I think people who are great view it as a good word, depending on what you get obsessed about.
Yeah, I mean that's how I was going to come into it. Is a lot of people don't understand how important the world obsessed is.
Oh, you think the world is obsessed?
No, no, no. Like how important that word
Oh, yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah.
So the word, the word. I can't say world and word at the same time.
Right.
Um, the word obsessed is the reason for everything. And I know that sounds super dramatic, but
Yeah.
if we weren't obsessed with things, we wouldn't have apartments, we wouldn't have roads, we
Right.
wouldn't have shoes, we wouldn't have food. People, if they weren't obsessed with figuring out how to make the world better over obsessed things,
Yeah.
we wouldn't have innovated anything. Like, think about that for a second. Like, think about this house, think about these lights. If Thomas Edison wasn't obsessed with power and electricity, we wouldn't have lights.
Right.
So like I see it as a beautiful word of like if you're gonna do something, why not be great at it? And when somebody tries to tell you, oh, they're working too much or they're doing this, it's like, yeah, but y'all aren't saying the same thing to Tom Brady. Y'all might have said he was crazy at first, but now he's got 7 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, what do you think you're obsessed with?
Probably nothing just yet.
I disagree.
Oh, you disagree? Dang. Okay.
What do you think I'm thinking?
Filmmaking?
Mm,
Yeah. I like that you both did it
eh.
together.
What do you love doing, bro?
Apparently I love talking too much.
No,
Oh, okay. That is kind of true though. I
that's
talk a
fine.
lot. I'm obsessed with talking.
That's fine.
Okay.
Talking's good, bro.
What do you think then?
I think you're obsessed at making people's day better.
I can vibe with that.
Like, I don't think that's something you're ever not going to do.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? Like, you got to think about like longevity of the word obsession, but it's like you're going to always make people feel good.
Like it's even to a point where I don't even think about it. Like, I think that's probably why I don't think
That's
about
just
it as
your
an
nature.
obsession. It's just my nature. Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. So, like, that's the coolest thing, bro, is like when you think about long term mission or you think about like what you're going to be known for, like, lean into that. That's why I don't think production's necessarily your calling, dude. I think there's a bigger, greater purpose where you make people feel again. I think you help people feel.
Yeah.
Every time I see you at the boot camp, every time you bring all this energy.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like to me, that's a gift.
Yeah.
The art of making people feel again. How many people have that?
Not many people.
And have you ever thought of that?
First time. I've probably thought about that more in this last year, probably. Like before this year, I don't think I would have like been aware of that skill set of mine or just that impact that I have. But I think this year, like that I don't think I've heard it put the way you've said it before. Like I've heard people say, "Oh man, you bring good vibes."
Of course.
You know, things of that nature. I like how you said that.
But I think good vibes can be gray. What vibes are you handing to someone?
Yeah, I think you made it more specific.
That's what I do. Is like when I unlock gifts and I unlock things, like this is literally what a war room is.
Yeah,
The coolest part about that thing is now you get to wake up tomorrow with no gray of feel good vibes versus man, all I gotta do is talk to somebody. I gotta check on them. I gotta ask them questions. You made someone feel today.
yeah.
That's nuts.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I remember that guy.
Yeah.
That's a cool feeling.
That is cool.
You know what I mean? So like I would lean into that, and then whatever attaches to that is what I think you're going to be great at.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah. That makes sense.
So like we have some big questions we ask in here.
Yeah.
Do you feel what I asked you earlier?
There's a
Oh,
lot of
but
questions.
believe.
Oh, belief.
What did I ask you earlier?
There's been a lot of questions. Like during this in session, earlier during the
No, I asked you what did I ask you about believe? What would it take you to really
Oh,
truly believe
to
in
believe
yourself?
in yourself. Yeah.
So the question is to the audience is like, do you believe in yourself?
Wow.
Remember?
Yeah.
And what was your answer?
I think my answer was no. Right?
Right? Yeah.
That's what I answered.
And then I said, well, what would it take you and your surroundings for you to actually believe in yourself?
And the funny thing, I think the answer is just a decision.
You're like, oh, I guess it depends. I could just believe in myself right now.
That is what I said. That's verbatim what I said. Yeah, because I thought about it, I was like, oh yeah, like what would it take? It would take a Tesla car. It would take, you
Yeah.
know.
But I think you have to think about it even more. Is like for me to really believe in myself, I needed people.
Yeah.
I needed people to believe in me. I needed to have people believe in the vision. Because I knew it was there. I just didn't know how people thought of it. I really didn't. And so like when you see people show up every weekend, or you see people come to the studio and they're like, man, you know how many people told me these LED lights were stupid until I put them in?
Oh, they're dope. Okay.
But people don't see vision
Yeah.
until it's done. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So yeah, going back to your original question, yes, that's exactly what I said. I said I think what would it take? I think first it takes other people believing in you. Yeah, because we mentioned something about like to accomplish things. I think there's things that you can accomplish with other people believing in you, right? But I think to really go far and accomplish like your purpose in life, I think it takes then you believing in yourself. I think like borrowing other people's belief, right, gets you so far, right? Because like you have a community that's surrounding you and like building you up, which is awesome, right? But at the end of the day, I think God probably only gave you a specific vision, right? And then for you, like that vision is not your friend's vision. That vision is not your parents or whoever those people who are believing into you. That vision is the one that God gave you, right? So at some point, you need to believe in like that to be able to really hit the heights that you meant to, right?
I 1,000% agree with you. You just dropped a bunch of bombs on that one, bro.
I did.
Mic drops for sure.
I was on the drop mics.
That was cold.
Thank you.
That was good, bro. Borrowing belief.
Yeah.
We should talk about that tomorrow.
Okay.
What that looks like.
Yeah.
Dude, so we always do a quote, every Saturday.
Okay.
What's a quote right now that just pops in your mind?
The quote was like limitless because you always talk about that.
What does that mean to you?
But I don't know if that's a quote that you talking about a quote that's probably for me.
Well, one, I want to do one that's for you, but then I just want to like one that you remember, like just instantly pops up.
Oh, well, limitless because you always talked about that.
What does it mean to you though?
I think limitless for me right now means it's okay if I like pause in between like as I answer these questions.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm not like I have to rush words out, right? When you get like, oh, you can like take a second. I think limitless means that the only cap that you put on the only cap that is on you is the one that you put on yourself, right? Like no one's putting a cap on what you can do, what your potential is, except for you, because no one really knows, right? So the one that's there is the one that you have. So I think limitless is to me is almost believing in like, hey, there's nothing you can't do. And in my belief, Christian background, there's nothing that you can do. You can accomplish all things through Christ.
Absolutely.
That's the verse that I was thinking of. But like, yeah, like the only limit that you probably give yourself or even God is the one that you put on them.
Yeah, and I think unless you add the word doubt or self-doubt, I think for me, man, mine's a little different based upon like I've been limited all of my life of what I could, should, and will be versus what I know I could have been. Because I had self-doubt from people telling me X, Y, Z. Right? Instead of just blocking out the noise and knowing that I'm going to get there, I did that, but I did that at like 26 to 28 where I was finally like, nah, I don't care what y'all have to think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was the thing where it's like, dude, I could have catapulted myself a long time ago if I would have just cut the string. You know what I mean? Those people pulled me back versus pushed me forward.
Yeah.
And so now that's why it's so important to me is like limitless versus limited just sounds so much more appealing. At the end of the day, limitless is on me and limited is also on me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's like, okay, I got to evaluate, analyze this, and really identify there is really no ceiling. Ceiling is me.
Yeah. I like that.
I like that. So what's your quote that you remember
Oh man.
or that you wrote down?
Here's one that kind of came to mind. Enjoy the work. That's probably not the exact quote that I wrote down, if I'm being completely honest. But it was like along those lines. Or fall in love with the process. You know? Like along and let me tell you the thought process, or at least what I mean by that. When I say like fall in love with the process or it's in the grind that the magic happens or so forth. I remember this on my birthday, September 12th. For you guys who watched this and want to show me a happy birthday on September 12th.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I remember dips. I remember when you do dips on workouts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, I hated dips. They were the worst. Like I remember doing them. I'm like, I can never finish. I remember there's a time where I had to do 3 sets of 10. I finished the first one, like, thank God. The second one, you barely get done. It's like the last one, he was like, the last 2 is like, you finish 8 and then you have to jump up for like the next one. He's like, okay, good. Do one more. You know what I'm talking about? And the third one, he was like, I'm not even going to do this. And I remember I had a shift on my birthday. I don't know how this happened, but I actually got excited to do each dip because with each dip, I knew I was getting stronger, right? Like you don't grow if you're not going through something, right? If you're not going through pain, right? Pain or gain or something of that nature.
Well, pain or pleasure.
Pain or pleasure. And I remember like I was getting excited because I knew with each rep I was getting strong, and that's exactly what I wanted. But you can't. I remember thinking, man, I can't get what I want if I'm not willing to do the work, and the work is the only way to get to where I want. So instead of falling in love with what you want, fall in love with the process, because it's only in the process that you get better. I remember like now when I do dips, I get super excited because like, oh man, I'm getting strong. I remember now I could do like 5 sets of 10. I could do 50 because I love it, you know?
Dude, I had this same metaphor in my head because I hated dips. And then every time I would go out to cook on the grill,
Yeah.
I would just do as many dips as I could till failure.
Yeah.
And then we started doing it with boot camp. I'm like, these are easy. I'm like,
Yeah.
But then it's crazy because then you think of progression. Not progression. Progression. What word am I thinking of? I can't think right now.
Well,
You just got better, right? My brain. Yeah, I didn't do good in school, bro. Don't worry. Couldn't spell. Still can't spell. Can't.
Yeah.
I can barely talk, bro. But no, I agree with you. The work, the climb, and also that's the part that you enjoy.
Yeah.
Like you're proud that you worked at it versus like somebody handing it to you. You know, I think people steal the joy from people every single day because they don't let people problem solve.
Yeah.
You're literally taking a life lesson. If someone's complaining and you go ahead and do it for them, you lost.
Yeah.
Both of y'all lost because you didn't actually question somebody for them to figure out their own answer. Because once they figure it out, they kind of get a dopamine spike of going, wow, if I figured this out, I can figure out anything. Like, well, you doing dips, like, oh, I pushed through today.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Next time there's a struggle after you left the workout that day and you're going home and something struggle, you're like, nah, I did my dips, man. I can do anything.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds so silly, but it's like the triumph that you have after you accomplish something is so important.
I felt legendary. I felt like
Limitless.
Yes. Oh man, there's so many guys that stuff that you like look up to. You think they're the cool guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? Like for some reason, like you consider yourself here, but you think like, man, those guys are so cool. I just want to impress them. And then like I remember getting done with my dips, and I went from like here to right here, and I started talking like those guys. Someone was like, yeah, man, I like working out, or I like being the best or whatnot. And I was like, yeah, I feel that.
I feel that.
I remember that happened because somebody wrote something on the board, and it was that same week that I felt that fall in love with the grind, with the work.
Yeah.
And someone said something that was very relating to the quote that I put down, And I resonated with that. We even looked at each other, made eye contact. I was like, I feel that, bro. I felt like a champion, honestly. This to that same point. I was like, I'm one of the guys. I reached that threshold.
Hey
Let's
man,
go,
you've been
baby. I'm
working though.
cool.
You've been working
Yeah.
in all lanes of your life, bro. That's the important piece.
Yeah.
Man, so we're about to wrap up soon. Is there
Okay.
anything you want to ask me? And then there's the other thing is there any advice you would give to the listeners?
Oh man. You know, questions for you. Uh, if anything, I've just been blessed by you and Chris. You know, um, truly, it's been. I remember saying this to someone back in Europe, right? I remember like I ran into them, and like I even took a picture with them in Europe, and I told them I said, hey, I only get one life to live. Like truly, like we all get one life to live, and it's pretty cool that in my one life I get to like associate with guys like you
Oh, bro.
and Chris.
Same, man. I mean, like I
You
said,
know?
dude, you make everybody feel, bro, you're a sunny day on most people's cloudy day, man. So I'm blessed to have you in my life. And I mean, obviously, dude, to be in the podcast is a big deal. And, you know, I love when you communicate because you always bring good energy, man. Like,
Yeah.
it's very hard to find people, you can't buy loyalty.
Yeah.
And, I just feel like you're always pushing good intentions and it's never about you. It's always about the people around you. And I think everybody sees that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I do have a question for you though.
you got a question for me?
Yeah. So you asked me about my 1, 2, 3 year vision. What about yours?
Man, I don't know if we have enough time for the pod. Man, my vision expands every hour.
Oh.
Truly, like it doesn't stop, which is healthy and unhealthy at some points. Because life's not guaranteed. And I think I had a wake up call, at some point this summer where I'm like, am I really doing everything I need to do to make this real and accomplish the vision?
Mm-hmm.
And because I wouldn't say I was coasting in a way, but I just felt like I wasn't putting my everything into it. I'd say 95%. And I've just never done that. I'm 100%er all the time
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to stuff that I want to do in my life. And then I was like, man, if I could go back and talk to the people that passed away yesterday, I wonder what they would say. And I want you to think about that. They would push me so hard to not take it for granted. And so like after that thought, I'm like, man, I gotta figure this out. I gotta really brain dump. I gotta really figure out this because it's not only about me at this point. It's not only my vision, because my vision is to help people identify their dream and then help them actually turn it into a reality.
Yeah.
Because I have truly done a phase of that in my life, and it's the craziest feeling you can imagine, from idea to action to execution. And so now the vision in like 1 to 3 to 5 years, man, is a compound to actually help people feel, be seen, understand entrepreneurship, work on their mental health, work on their physical health, all in one location where they're actually scaling faster to identifying happiness and to unlock their version of success.
Oh my gosh. You know what I just thought about as you said that? You know how there's hospitals for people who are like, let's say you get shot or like, that's an extreme example, but like, if it's a scenario,
He's from Brooklyn, yo.
you get a baby, you get like a little cut on your finger, right? You get a paper cut. There you go. That's Texas. That's joking. And you have to go to the hospital and you get patched up and then like you get back out into the world. Honestly, I feel like as you were talking, that described almost you for like people who either are lost, don't know what their dream, don't know what their purpose is. It's almost like, hey, this is the hospital for your life, for your soul, almost.
That's cool, bro.
As opposed to like for physical injuries.
I actually really like that, man. I mean, it goes back to the exact metaphor, man. Is like some people are hurt, and you can't fix something unless you're aware of it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need an outside perspective. Sometimes you need somebody that's been through those trenches, somebody that's talked to a lot of people that can also help you. Like, I am so blessed, bro, from my trenches and my pain, because it's just an opportunity for me to help one person.
Yeah.
And then that one person goes and helps one person. So like when we see the compound is just basically a place for people to unlock, to go from good to great, and help them actually be a part of that. And then, be a little sentence in somebody's chapter, man. Like, I think that goes back to legacy. Is like, what is my legacy? And at first, it was just the fear of being forgotten.
Mm.
That freaked me out because I want to build something. Like there's a quote that a friend of mine just told me, and it stuck with me so hard. Is I want to build. I don't want to live forever, but I want to build something that does. And I feel like I'm doing that, and I feel like Chris is doing that, and then I feel like all the people around us and you are also doing that at the same time. It's not just like a, hey, I'm doing this. It's, hey, we're all doing something cool. We're all doing something great, and we're all building a mindset and a lifestyle that we want to actually live. And then what happens is it actually, we don't have to say what we're doing. All people do is watch actions, and now they're just following and wanting to learn, wanting to grow, wanting to change their life. And that's going to be super cool.
Yeah.
Right. But then, like, when I think of legacy and I think of certain things, I want to help people unlock their gift and then teach them how to unlock others.
Mm.
Because then my legacy never does die. It never is forgotten. Even though it's not tied to my name, the purpose of using your gift every day provides you unlimited fulfillment. If you go out every single day and you make people feel again, God gave you that gift. And if you use that gift every single day, you cannot tell me that you won't be fulfilled every day. If you use the gift that God gave you.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing. And so, like, if you could help someone unlock theirs and then teach them how to unlock someone they know, we all become better human beings. So that's my answer.
I like it.
I know I rambled a lot, but
It was fantastic. You answered the question.
all right. So what's one piece of advice you want to give back to the audience?
Oh man, there's so much. I would just say, one piece of advice. Actually, do this if you're not already doing this every single day. Um, Meet someone new. I'll probably say that's my advice. Here's why I say that. I feel like a lot of connections that I have come from people that I just met just out and about. Right?
So I'm going to twist off this for a second.
He's twisting.
Twisting. If you have a hard time because you don't meet a lot of people or you work from home or you do those kinds of things,
Yeah.
reach out to someone in this specific way. And this goes from very much personal to turns into business, right? If I'm sitting here talking to Alex, we're in the same production space, but now we've had conversations about life. We've had conversations about purpose. Alex, do you know anybody that kind of aligns with how I think?
Oh yeah.
How many people pop in your mind?
I have a few.
Okay, so few people, right, that align with how I think, how you think. What does that convert into?
The first word that came to mind was community.
Community, personal, business, entrepreneurship. Because here's the thing. Now you're going to go refer me to 3 different people that I get to have a conversation with that's not about business, but it's about connections. And then after connections opens up lanes to personal and business at the same time.
Yeah.
That's how you market and sell yourself through your network, is push it as, hey, does anybody you know align with how I think and how I operate things? Because if I sit there and go, hey man, you got anybody that needs our like our video services?
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, I don't really want to refer this person just to go sell one of my friends. I don't want that.
Right.
Like if you're like, hey bro, do you know anybody that needs video service? I'd be like, I would really think about it, but I also don't want to reach out to somebody and be like, hey, you need video service, here's this guy.
Yeah.
But if you're like, man, Weston, do you know anybody that kind of I'd vibe with, that I can catch up with? Bro, I got like 50 people on my contact list right now that would love to have just a conversation with you.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, 50 versus 0, you have a better chance of actually bringing business to play.
Yeah. That's fair.
So that's just a way around if you really are unsure how to actually reach out and say, hey, I need business. Don't reach out to friendship, reach out to connection, then to business.
So I agree 100% on that, by the way. I like that approach. One thing I was thinking of, especially just like meeting someone every single day, is like,
How do you do that? You compliment? That's what I do.
yeah, it's like sometimes you compliment. Yeah, that's like the most straightforward way. You compliment somebody like, "Hey, nice shoes, nice jacket, nice shirt," right? Just like an entryway, right? But the more you feel comfortable about yourself and connecting with people, the easier it just comes out to be, right?
Right.
The first thing that kind of comes to your mind, you could be like, "Oh, hey, you reading that book? That's an awesome book. How you like it so far?" Right? It could be anything that kind of comes to mind. I think the more you separate doubt from taking action and just like whatever pops into your mind, it's like, "Oh, hey." Most of it is always going to be a compliment, right? Or someone's like, "Hey, funny enough, I do this with bald people, black bald people. When I see them out and about, if I see another bald black guy, I kind of like walk up to them and be like, whoa, man, I thought I was looking myself in the mirror for a second."
Watch out for the milk duds.
Oh, dude, it gets them every single time. They start cracking up laughing, you know?
That's
Uh,
hilarious.
but yeah, I'll say just meeting people in general, just because I feel
You
like,
have that. You have that personality though.
well, anyone can do that. I've seen people, oh, you just mean,
Like
to be,
being a goofball, being open, having
that's true.
conversation. Like you're not timid in that space. But
Yeah.
I think you've gained confidence because you were independent as a kid.
Yeah.
It's like you just learned how to communicate. So like I think a lot of people are very timid, introvert. Saying a compliment is like their worst fear in the world, you know.
Yeah.
But it's something that you have to do.
Yeah.
Like people are everything. You know what I mean?
My life has become richer because of it. Like, that's how I get fed.
That's your value. Is people, connections, relationships. That's your value. I think a lot of people don't know what their value is in the first place.
So there it is. Dig with the advice. Find out your values.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what my advice is.
Oh yeah. You got one advice?
Could be one. My advice for the week. What did I talk about this morning? I don't know what I talked about this morning. Not rock bottom. I talked about rock bottom yesterday. Oh, the approval of other people. But I don't know if I want to get into that.
Well, hopefully they got something out of this. The entire like
Yeah,
podcast.
I'm hoping, man. I guess mine would probably be. I say this when I back into a corner. I don't know what to say. Don't fucking hesitate. If you're gonna do it, go do it. But don't sit there and wait around and never do it. That is a absolute terrifying thing to think about. And if I would have done that, I would be miserable and I would stay in misery. Exactly. But going to that, tying off that, is don't hesitate. Change your habits, change your life. And that's what we're going to stick to. So, Alex, bro, pleasure as always. Keep fucking rocking that
I do
gift.
this hand. There you go.
Let's make things happen 2025. We dreaming, we doing. And stay tuned for the next pod. We're going to have Alex on again, especially with Chris. Missing Chris today, but Chris got some stuff he's doing. And you'll be back.
Oh yeah. Well, hey, thank you for even having me on in the first place.
Absolutely, bro. Let's get it. I'm so excited.